George Caldwell. Peter Bramante.
Peter Bramante.
Okay, it's all yours.
Yeah, talking with Peter Bramante of FirstWorks here in Providence. Welcome, Jeff. Good to talk to you.
It's good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good. First of all, let's find out what FirstWorks is.
Sure. FirstWorks is a presenting organization that is bringing sort of world-class artists here to Providence. We connect artists locally with the visiting artists that we're bringing and connect them into our classrooms and our community. So we're really building out the experience of the artists before they come to the public performance so that our audiences and the community get a real sense for the artist's point of view and what's sort of behind their work. So it's important to us, we're a nonprofit organization, so we're not just about, presenting the artist, but really understanding how the arts transform lives and how artists are at the center of ideas and change. And so we're really thrilled to be able to connect our community with artists that otherwise wouldn't probably be in this marketplace.
How long ago was FirstWorks established?
FirstWorks, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary.
Really?
We're moving into our 11th season.
Great.
And we were sort of born out of First Night. And Kathleen Pletcher, who's our executive artistic director, is the founder.
So First Night means that on New Year's Eve you've been having a celebration annually.
That's right. And it was at that point in time that it evolved to say, instead of just a singular evening of celebration of the arts, we're looking at a year-round model that is engaging with artists.
What kind of events have you had in the past?
Well, we're focused primarily on the performing arts and some digital media and film works, mostly music and theater, but iconic artists of our times. We have a series called Artistic Icons, so folks like Yo-Yo Ma on the Silk Road, Bill T. Jones, Wynton Marsalis, Bobby McFerrin, folks that are really, icons in their own right. And then also a series of emerging artists who are really pushing frontiers either in the forms that they're working on or in the concept of the work that they're engaging with.
About how many events do you have a year?
Generally 6 to 8 public performances in different size venues. We operate out of about 3 different performance venues, and then our education program works throughout the course of our season, which runs about 8 to 9 months.
So you said 6 to 8 public events. What are the non-public events?
Those would be things in schools through our arts learning program, where we're connecting these artists with young people in various school districts across Rhode Island. So those tend to be lecture demonstrations or learning performances or actual workshops on site in schools, connecting these artists with the students.
Who are some of the artists that you presented or that have gone to the schools?
Basically all of these same artists. So,
really?
Wynton and all of the Jazz at Lincoln Center. We're actually entering our 5th year of a partnership now with Jazz at Lincoln Center. Wynton is really engaged with youth education and development and carrying forward, obviously, the jazz form and its importance, certainly in this country, as an original art form, an American art form. And over the years, really developing in-depth approaches to curriculum. He and Sandra Day O'Connor, for example, co-authored a curriculum called Let Freedom Swing, and it integrates jazz with sort of American democracy, social justice, teaching social studies. So one of our objectives with our school partners is how the arts, yes, for art's sake, it's important just to have arts in your schools, but it also is really transformative in teaching other subjects. So over the course of our partnership, we've introduced through the Jazz at Lincoln Center program approaches to teaching math, to teaching social studies, and to teaching history. It's been a fantastic partnership. And also bringing this amazing American art form, jazz, in all of its flavors, blues, blues, soul. I mean, introducing a whole new young generation of young students who have never heard this music, really.
So what age group students do you?
Well, we work really K through 12, but the focus is really sort of upper elementary, so 4th, 5th, and into middle school, 6, 7, 8. That's the core focus.
Now, you just generally go to a school, or are you focused on the artists who are into, or the students who are into some sort of art form?
We have a number of school partners, some of whom have art programs or music programs, but really it's more about the arts as a tool to inspire curiosity, creativity, and learning. So not necessarily all of them have art programs.
Is there an event of going to one of those schools, one that really sticks out in your mind?
Well, there are a number, but I think that one in particular is a school in Pawtucket, which is one of most of our partnerships are in the urban core cities, and a lot of those districts, have seen, unfortunately, cuts, especially in arts and and other extracurricular activities. And so seeing young people that maybe sometimes the education system has sort of written off, but seeing them come to life and be excited. And a young girl, I'm going to sort of take her quote out of context, but just saying, I never really knew that there were people like me, a young black girl, who could be powerful and have a voice, and that's inspired me to think about, I could do anything I wanted to do. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be a pathway in the arts, but it could be, I could be a judge or a doctor or so hearing how inspirational these artists are to young people. And a lot of the folks that FirstWorks are bringing relate to a lot of these young students and their own personal stories.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the upcoming season? When does it start, and some of the things planned?
Yeah, we're really excited to continue our relationship with Jazz at Lincoln Center. So as I said earlier, a 5th year of partnership with their teaching artists from Jazz at Lincoln Center, but then Wynton Marsalis and the orchestra will be here in December with Big Band Holidays. Our season sort of kicks off in October, but our first headline performance will be with Wynton at the Vets, and that's December 4th. And then carrying through in terms of the jazz work, we're really excited about a multi-month partnership with Urban Bushwomen. It's celebrating their 30th year, all African-American female company, but with the New England World premiere tour of a new work, Walking with Train, which was inspired by John Coltrane's seminal work, A Love Supreme. And George Caldwell has composed the original score and plays live with this dance work. And they'll be in our community for over a period of about 4 months, back and forth, working in various community centers, nightclubs. We have a grant through Dance USA. It's really about engaging dance audiences, and so through the two mediums of jazz and social dance, and looking at the African diaspora around those two forms, really having dialogues and ways of points of entry for people. That's one of FirstWorks' hallmarks about engaging the community through the arts. So even if you're not a dance fan per se, there's a point of entry for you to come, and maybe it's the music, or maybe it's the theme of the work. So we're really excited about that. And we also have London's Ballet Boys for the first time coming, and then also culminating the season, Roseanne Cash, and a focus on Americana. And so it's very diverse, our work, in terms of the artists who are coming and what you'll hear and what you'll see.
You mentioned funding. How difficult has it been over the years to get funding? Is it getting any easier? Is it getting harder?
Well, it's always the challenge, and certainly I think through the tough years of the most recent economic downturn, especially with a lot of corporate funding going away. I think it's getting a little bit better, and it always remains a challenge. But I think when you're doing good work, and as I said, our sort of model is about engagement and impact, and talking about all the various ways that the arts build community. And so we find making that case and people who understand that for, whether it be about the education of young children and finding opportunity, or about, the attractiveness of a place because it has a soul, because the arts are live there, and I think Providence has really embraced that. So those are the ways that we strategically and creatively kind of help to build the funding side to make all of this come together. And of course our patrons and our donors, we're immensely grateful for their support.
Sure. We're sitting here in the Columbus Theater talking. Tell us a little bit about your collaboration with the folks here at the theater.
Absolutely. We've gotten, over the course of the last year, FirstWorks and the City of Providence collaborate on a large public festival. And it was inaugural year, was just kicked off this June, and we came to know the folks here at the Columbus through that endeavor, which was really engaging hundreds of artists across the community as well as bringing them in. And we got to talking about what would be some projects where we could work collaboratively together, and that began this conversation certainly with the Brian Blade concert. So we sort of initially started to just say, well, we've been building a jazz audience through our past association with Wynton Marsalis and some of the other programming we've done. Let's work together to bring people here to hear this amazing jazz drummer, to have a live recording happening, and the work that Jeff and Tom and all the folks here are doing about bringing this iconic theater back to life. And then we are bringing a New England premiere of a new work by an LA company. The work just premiered at Red Cat in Los Angeles, called Cloud Eye Control, which is a digital media and multi-genre performance group, taking film, animation, video, and live performance, streaming video, and original music. And the piece is looking at the Fukushima incident and sort of environmental and man-made disaster. So it's a really unique and I think it's the right feel for a lot of the audience that the Columbus has built, and also FirstWorks' approach to artists who are pushing frontiers. And then they are bringing Rhode Island native Nico Muley, who has deep roots into the community, and a really amazing emerging musician, later in April, and we're going to work with them to cross-pollinate our audiences again. So it's really exciting. I think FirstWorks has a multi-generational audience with all of the diverse sort of offerings that we have, and the Columbus has built a really young and deeply interested group of followers, and the opportunity to sort of bring those two things together, and also stitching together parts. We operate mostly in downtown. They're here on the west side. Part of our both kind of collective philosophies about building community really enrich each other as well. So it's exciting.
Is there a statement you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Other than, I'm so honored that I've listened to you for years, and your beautiful melodious voice on the radio.
Thank
and
you.
I've learned so much from you,
Thank
and
you.
I'm just honored to
It's
have the
definitely my
opportunity.
Good.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that okay?